So yesterday I had the chance to ride a couple of zero electric motorcycles, and really interesting experience. I rode the FXS model, the sort of crosser type model, and I rode the S, the street model. And here's what I thought of them.
It's the bare-faced biker.
So, this is the one I've been waiting for. Well, not this model, but to try one of the electric bikes. A Zero FXS. This is the off-road version. Something rather different. Well, it's extremely light, is my first impression. So apparently the green light there means it's good. Starting off in eco mode because the conditions are not ideal. We can change mode here, but we'll start off in eco. No clutch, immediately feeling for the clutch, and there isn't one. And no gear lever. Just sort of find a biting point, as it were, with the accelerator. Everyone's struggling with finding a biting point and having no clutch. Well, the silence is deafening, rather eerie. But it's smooth, not jerky at all. So, a hugely torquey bike with no traction control. Apparently the newer version that's out has that, but none of these do, which is interesting. It's got that milk float like noise of an electric motor. I think this must have some regenerative braking, because when I roll off, someone said to me they don't have any engine braking, or motor braking, but this does feel like you've got a little bit. As in, when I roll off, I can feel some resistance. So I don't know whether that's something you can customise, or whether in eco mode this one's got it, or... Quite weird that there's no heat coming off it either. I know that some bikes you get a bit of heat off them, some you don't, but this obviously got none at all coming off it. Oh yeah, it's torquey. And that's just eco mode. Oh, and the brakes are very good too. Even the rear. Oh, reaching for the clutch again, obviously, as we slow down. Which isn't there. Everyone's riding very gingerly. I think it's a new experience for I think all of the riders here today. There's me trying to change up gear. The silence is very strange, I must say. think ignoring the control differences, it's the silence that's the weirdest thing at the moment. So that's at the stop. I can get it against the stop, even in this weather. This one hasn't got knobblies on; it's got road tyres on, gratefully. So, still being a little bit careful though. Chap there did say that you can spin it up really easily. Not too bad in eco mode though. A bit like a rain mode, perhaps. I can hear the electric noise from the other riders too, and it feels very strange as a group. Us bumbling along here, making no noise. But yeah, the build of speed is without that noise is so strange. But very good at A-road speeds. It's nice. But I get the impression the weight of the battery, which I guess is where all the weight is very low. So handling wise I expect them all to be pretty good, even though they're probably a bit heavy for the types of bikes they are. Right, we're going to go sport. Well, the throttle immediately feels a bit sharper. I don't feel imminently in danger of spinning it up. I'm still against the stop there. So I can see what when we've got output and how much there, so you can see how much I'm on the throttle and how much it's regenerating, and as I brake it seems to regenerate a bit as well. Perhaps it increases the regeneration as I brake, which is perhaps why the brakes feel so sharp. I don't know if you can see on the video, there's like a little graphic there showing how much I'm on the gas and how much I'm on the brakes. So there you can see when I gun it, I'm obviously using a lot of energy, and then when I'm braking it's regenerating, which is cool. The road is quite a bit wetter than when we were riding around earlier today. Quite a bit of rain. So I would describe the power on this as sort of the power and torque feels on, certainly on this FXS, feels like a 750 800cc triple, to give you a feel for comparison of talk about. But it is very instant, like it doesn't matter at what speed you hit the gas, like there, it's immediate. So there's no curve, it's just on off. I don't mean on off in a snatchy accelerator kind of way. I just mean it's all there if you want it instantly, like that. No, it's not difficult to ride smoothly, not at all. Slow speed stuff's really easy too. For stop-start city riding, you can see that this would be this would be pretty good. Small, light. You know, to have the power and torque of, like, say, an 800 in a package this small is pretty good. So you become accustomed to the quiet quite quickly. And the controls. It's just a kind of bit of an initial adjustment, but I'd say it's something you get used to very quickly if you owned one of these. You know, we're riding it every day, like any bike, I suppose. You can see people's faces as we go past, thinking, are those electric? Up to 60 pretty much instantly. I'm finding it bizarre that they don't have LED indicators. Surely that's just wasted power. Maybe it's not of any significance in the scheme of things. But with all this modern tech, you'd have thought they would have, really, wouldn't you? Yeah, low speed. You don't even need to drag the rear brake, really. Dead easy. Still going for the gear lever too. At 70 mile an hour it's starting to run out of beams. In terms of when I roll on, it's not doing much. But it's still building speed, but not at quite such a pace. Totally fine for UK roads though. And absolutely no problem for all city riding. It'll still get... Wow, very interesting. If all it was town riding, maybe. So that had 60-something% when I went out, and after 20-minute ride it's got 38. For this outing, 0S. Apparently this is the equivalent of a 125, but not really. Let's see. Bit of a generic looking sort of bike. Not much to them, is there? Battery motor, belt drive. Everyone tiptoeing, struggling with no noise, no clutch, no biting point. So my first impression of this is it doesn't have the same put in eco as the FXS. Handling's a bit, obviously less moto, a bit more sort of street tripply. Feels a bit heavier than that though, a little bit slower to turn perhaps. Okay, I'm bored with eco. Sport is significantly faster. Yes, that's made a big difference. Much bigger difference than on the FXS. I guess because this is a heavier bike. up, and yes, you can spin up the rear very easily. Again, someone said to me before the test rides that when you roll off there's no engine braking. I wouldn't say that. And you can see down there it regenerates as you roll completely off without braking. Yeah. I think it's probably similar engine braking to a 4-cylinder, maybe even a triple. It's it has got some braking on roll off. It doesn't just like, maybe you can change that in the settings. The chap said on the custom modes you can. There is like a custom mode where you can set everything in that regard. So perhaps some of them are, perhaps the setting that whoever said that about it was in. Was set so that it didn't have a lot of regenerative. Well, this is certainly not comparable to a 125. It's very, very street triple-y in its level of power, I would say. Feels pretty torquey. So I've got a bit of dry-ish road here. Yes, it's not bottoming out, or it's not topping out rather, like the FXS. It's got a bit more go in it over at sort of mid speeds, at sort of 60 to 80. It's still got plenty of go in it. Oh, it's still going. So like the FXS, the slowed speed handling here, really easy. Whereas normally you'd be feathering the clutch and slipping the rear brake. Obviously there's no clutch on this, but you don't even need to feather the rear brake. You've got so much control with just the accelerator. Yeah, it's an electric street triple with a smidgen more torque, just a little bit. So would I ever use eco mode? Well, unless I was about to run out of battery somewhere, probably not. Might as well just have it in sport. I suppose if you were very tired and needed to have your wits about you, then perhaps you would. Just to reduce the risk of spinning up the rear. But on a dry day, I don't think you'd ever have it in eco. Really easy to ride through the villages at slow speed. And once you get a feel for how that power is going to come on, you know, you can very quickly adjust to your right hand being your traction control. And certainly on dry bits of road like this, not a problem at all. I think this is about 180 kilos, something like that. It feels more. It feels more. Whether that's the suspension, perhaps. It doesn't carry its weight badly. Just feels a bit. Feels a little bit weighty for the size bike it is, but I'm nitpicking there, to be honest. When we came through this village before, the reaction of people when you drive past them to a group of bikes cruising past relatively silent, almost silently, is quite amusing. Yeah, you're not going to break traction on a dry bit of road like this unless you're cranked over and being silly. know, it's not that brutal a power delivery. So would I buy one? No. With a range of 100 miles and a charge with a fast charger, which is not a 240 volt socket, so fast charger, like the car charging points that you have in some places, I think is something like 3 kilowatt or 6 kilowatt rather. With that it will charge in an hour, but off a 3-pin plug, which will give 2 or 3 kilowatts, I guess you're looking at double that. Limits its usefulness for getting anywhere of distance or for doing ride outs, say at the weekend. For commuting, would I have one? Yes, most definitely. My commute's about 4 miles to the train station, so yeah, it'd last me all week on one charge. However, that would be fine if it were replacing a £3,000 125, but at 15 grand, that doesn't work. In the future, when they've improved the battery tech and the prices come down, yeah. I think the government giving grants, you know, 500 quid here and there off purchase prices for things like this. Totally pointless. They should spend money on sorting, firstly standardising the infrastructure. But then also on rolling out charging points here, there and everywhere. That's the way to get this market moving. They just sort of tinker around the edges, don't they? Never really put a proper effort into getting these things going. So slow speed stuff on these. I'm not even using the rear brake, it's dead easy. If I use the rear brake as well, I can go even slower. The sound of a group of zero bikes taking off in relative silence. It's quite funny, quite strange. Just flicking back in eco. Yes, I think you could call the eco a bit of a rain mode. It's a little bit tamer, easier on the throttle, or less. Still pretty nippy, but just not as responsive and not as much of a sudden torque delivery. Yeah, from slower speed with the eco mode, the power just comes in really gently. Quite nice, really, on a wet road. Better than any wet engine map that I've used on a normal bike. So after getting off the Zero Motorcycles electric bikes and back on a 1290 GT, it really does make you realise quite how instant the torque was on those bikes. It was such a different feeling on them. And getting back on the GT as well, obviously, immediately you've got all this noise and vibration, and you know, which you just see as normal. And getting on those zero bikes is a really out-of-body experience almost. It's all two wheels, it's all good fun.